Facebook, welcome to the Progressive Auto Sales Arena. Hey guys,
It's an area too.
An area. We're on the pad. That's what they call it. Did you know that? Like, I was in the media room earlier, and some of the Terry Doyle and some of the other media guys were talking. Saying, what was happening up on the pad earlier? Well, of course, they were talking about Matt Martin, who was here for the NHL Hall of Fame induction, and I only talked to him for a brief moment. Lee Cunningham did all the commentary questions, and but super nice guy. Had a lot of great things to say about Sarnia, as you would expect, but you could really tell that he was really sincere. Just a nice guy.
That's awesome. He's such a legend. I'm so glad this is finally happening. It'd be kind of cool to see his number up there eventually as well.
Yeah.
I think he deserves it. I just shared earlier on my Facebook about he's the second most leading hits of all time in the NHL. It's kind of an underrated stat. I don't know if many people know that.
Second most leading hits?
Yes. Body
Really?
checks, yeah. He is
wow. I didn't know that was a stat.
3,900. Yeah, well, it's important. That's a very important. I tell you, that body contact is important, Dave. So, yeah, it's 3,900 hits in the NHL.
How many fights?
Oh, I couldn't. I looked that up for you, but
I figured you'd know that.
That would have been a good stat to know. I just, I know you're not interested. So.
You keep saying that. I'm okay with the fights. It's just sometimes I go like, really, right now, just play hockey. But we'll talk about that in a bit. But and I think if I'm right, fact check me. 13 games shy of 1,000 in the NHL. That's a lot of hockey.
That's a ton of hockey. In the NHL especially, like, it's so impressive to do. So many guys can come in and get their, their cup of coffee, as you would call it.
Yeah.
Like, you're 10 games, 20 games, or you can get 300. But to get almost 1,000, it's extremely rare to find yourself in that club. And to former Sting, like, wow, it's just what an honor to have him around.
They were talking with him, and one of the questions that the media asked him was, because he played with Steve Stamkos, of course, here while he was here with Sting, and said, what was that like transitioning into the NHL with Stamkos? And he said, well, I'd sooner play with him than against him, put it that way. He's gotten the Islanders a couple of times.
Right.
Right? So he sort of chuckled about that, but I think there was a part that was serious, like, really, and when he spoke about him, he really put Steven Stamkos up on a pedestal as far as the player that he is in the NHL.
Yeah, well, we saw firsthand how important he was to us and to numerous Stanley Cup winning Tampa Bay Lightning teams, and even still, I think he's on pace for another 30 goals this season as he's getting. How old are we all getting that he's in the later stages of his NHL career? But
right.
That he's still doing it, it's just so impressive. And there's rumors that he might get traded at this deadline, so see him make maybe another playoff push and see what more damage he can do in the playoffs, because he's been a proven performer time and time again.
Well, Matt Martin is here with his family, and it was I guess I'll call it cute. He's got 4 children, so he's got 2 girls, 2 girls, and then twins came along. 2 boys, I believe. So he's got 4 children going on. And I think the twins just came along like, I want to say like June. So they're fairly new. And what some people might not realize too is Matt Schaefer actually lives with Matt Martin. How cool is that?
That's unbelievable. He just broke an NHL record last night for most goals as an 18-year-old defenseman. I think that was Bobby Orr's record, 18 goals. Such an amazing player. And what a story to have him in a former Sting player's house and now leading like a leadership role in an NHL prospect for years to come. Probably one of the better players to ever touch the ice, and how cool is that to mentor him and see him come into his own.
And he talked a lot about his billet family when he was here.
Right.
And he touched a little bit briefly on that. And then, what it was like being here in Sarnia. Talked about the fans of Sarnia, as we have many times, Connor, said the fans are second to none here. And he didn't say it exactly that way verbatim, but, and a lot of times you have these things too. You expect them, of course, to say nice things about blah, 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 but he came out so genuine with the way he was talking, and he was not shy about talking. But it was very, very genuine coming out of his voice, which is great to see.
Yeah, no, he's like I said, what a leader. For the Islanders to even consider him to be a leader and have mentored one of their the best prospect that they have right now, to trust him and say this is the way of the NHL and show him the ropes and everything that he's been through in his 987 NHL games. That just says so much about him. And he wore the C here, and I think he wore an A a couple times with the Islanders, and even on the Leafs team. I think when he was there, Mitch Marner and Austin Matthews were pretty young there, and he mentored them to come into the Leafs. So I think that it's just how high regards when people think of Matt Martin. What an outstanding leader and a player. Just, you didn't get all the points that you'd asked for, but I'm telling you, those 4,000 hits that's an unbelievable stat to be able to put your body on the line like that night after night and just play that third line, fourth line role and have no ego about it and just be a formidable player for your entire career.
He even talked about the leadership that was here when he was on the Sarnia Sting, and he didn't always have the best years. Like he talked about, I think it was his first year he was here, it was really quite a struggle as far as to the point of not getting a lot of play time on the ice, and he was sort of asked the question, like, what's the advice you give to this year's Sarnia Sting team, which he had obviously been paying attention because he was very clear. He's like, I know they're having a frustrating year, but he said adversity and consistency really, and you hear that a lot from professionals in any sport, any successful business. I think after a while you hear it enough to start to go, gee, there's got to be a common denominator there.
That or it annoys you to the point where you're just like, this is, 100%. And what to hear it from a guy like that, and it's a story as old as time. We've had our rough years, or we're continuing to have our rough years, but adversity builds character. Sometimes you don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Most of us don't.
It's brutal to hear. You just got to keep at it. It's a long road ahead, and to hear something like that from a guy like that, it's probably got to be a little encouraging. And I would assume he's probably doing the lineup read for tonight, which is pretty uplifting and motivating for all these players, which we're probably going to need against this Barrie Colts team because they are outstanding. Yeah,
well, we'll shift to that in just a moment, but the Stinger out on the ice getting warmed up. Matt Martin is still here. There's going to be a presentation out on the ice. He's here, like his family is all here, like the kids and I think brother and whoever else, right? I didn't really catch everybody, but the whole family's here. And the Sarnia Sting, just kudos to Jake and Mark Guy, who's involved and everything. Is getting Matt Martin here was a lot of work because he's a busy guy. Of course, he's retired now. I was just talking to Jay Peckham about it where, he was looking at management, possibly media. He didn't really let it out of the bag exactly. I sort of felt like leaning towards the media side of things. But you can go online to my Facebook and see the entire, it's about 20 minutes, great inductee Hall of Fame conference. And it's also on the Sarnia Sting Facebook page as well. So thanks, Matt Martin. More to come out on the ice with that. All right, Barrie is in the house. And shout out to Nick Carruthers if he's on TikTok. He's from Barrie. He was messaging me earlier. He's like, oh, playing Barrie tonight.
A loyal fan.
He's like, are you ready for a loss? And I'm like,
We see him in the comments very often, right?
Yes, we do. He's probably out there.
I didn't wear my chain, so I'm sure I'm going to hear that from him as well.
Yeah, you will, for sure. I'll remind him.
I bet you will.
So I'm sure he'll be tuning in. But you know what? On paper, here's a tough one. We're like, Barrie's like 88 points to our, where are we at?
86 points, and we're down there at the bottom of ours.
Yeah.
43.
Like
so
6 points behind Saginaw.
Just 6 points, yep.
So
2 games against them.
Everything's critical. Well. Hey, welcome back. Dave McGregor, who was away in Costa Rica, I was chatting with him regularly.
Ooh, got that tan.
Yeah, bummer, eh? He's back for a bit. So, okay, Connor, here we are. Like, every game is a little closer to not, like, having any more chances.
Yeah, it comes down to the mathematical odds. Like I said before, you really start looking at other teams at this point and wondering, we were kind of looking at Owen Sound to lose some games, and now they've skipped ahead of Saginaw. Now you're looking at Saginaw to say, how many games can they lose? And you look at the rest of our schedule, and it's all becoming very, that Charlie Day meme where he's got all the pins on the board and trying to connect it all. It comes down to it. It's tough. We've got 2 games against Saginaw upcoming, which are extremely important. You got to win tonight and a couple others before that, but to even be in contention or conversation, excuse me, because mathematically it's going to run out pretty quickly. So to even get buried to an overtime or a shootout would be nice tonight, and hope that you never want to rely on anyone else's misfortune.
Yeah, but at this point, that's always the name of the game for some teams anyway. You're always looking, okay, what's and we've talked about it before, how the board is down in the locker room, but the kids.
I think it might be back up at this point.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but they're checking out their phones anyway.
Yes.
They know where they're sitting at. They know what they have to accomplish. You talk about the pins on the board. How do we connect those pins? How do we connect the dots here tonight?
I think it comes down to a lot of this. You don't want to play too defensively because we end up not getting the goals that we need, and you've seen that throughout the whole season. 1 goal, 2 goal, 3 goal games. It's hard to win in the OHL when you only score that many goals. There's high-powered offensive teams that are able to score 6 or 7 a night, and they really put it on. And this team especially, it's 2 first-round picks in Keishon Atchison. What a player! He's a bruising body.
Yeah.
And Ben Wilmot is another great player that they have. It's going to be tough to get by, but you just have to play them hard. Physically as well, you can't lead off on any hits. It's the shy into the corner. You have to finish everything. You have to be physical. It's almost man-to-man at this point. You can't let anybody get too far away from your wheelhouse because it turns into a one-timer.
On a positive side of things, Connor, Beckham Edwards is back in the lineup tonight. So some excitement coming out there. I spoke to him last game we were here. We saw him limping around here after the first game after he was off. And then we saw him with a little without the leg brace, and I saw him upstairs in one of the suites and kind of cornered him and talked to him. And he goes, he was getting ready to skate out of practice, see how that goes. But he was pretty confident that he would be back soon. And so finding out tonight that Beckham Edwards is back is a strong positive. I think. Well, I mean, I don't want to say this wrong. Like, it's always great to have one of your great players back, of course. I find sometimes players, when they've been hurt and they're back, they're a little hesitant because they don't want to get hurt again, and especially at this critical point of the season.
Yeah, I say that all the time, but you saw how Alessandro Diorio came back from his injury. He was flying right off the bat, and I think it's almost a different scenario where he missed a large chunk of the season.
Sure he did, yeah.
And Beckham, I think, has missed maybe 4 or 5 games possibly, so I don't think it's going to be too hard for him to jump back in, and maybe even that was what he needed, was a little bit of a reset, because you saw that he kind of struggled with getting points lately, and sometimes maybe that's all you need, is just a little bit of rest, a little bit of perspective, and I'm glad to see him back. That's for sure, because
he'll be a firecracker out there. Apologize, I just put the names up on the screen, and I had Jay Peckham up there, and I'm like, Jay Peckham, really? He might be. I know he's here tonight. Well, you guys are. You got a treat tonight. You're up in the Hughes Intelligence Hockey Suite, and you guys enjoy yourself and get the bird's eye view there. And then I don't know, one of you, both of you, whoever is going to be down here. But it's good to have him back, and I'm predicting that he won't hesitate. I think at this point of the game, he knows this is all critical. This is every move they make right now has to count towards getting themselves into the playoff position. And if they don't start, it's almost like this is the start of a new season right now for the Sarnia Sting.
Yeah, you'd say that, totally separate it from the start of it. This is crunch time. This is basically playoffs. Every game is a playoff game. You lose, you see yourself fall farther down the standings, and Beckham Edwards knows what needs to be done. He's been here for 2 years now. Everyone is tired of not making the playoffs, so I'm pretty sure he's ready to go, and it's as much as it is a team game, everybody wants to be the hero, so I would love to see him come out and put on that hero suit.
Yeah, I think everybody here would agree with you. Decent crowd here tonight. I'm a little jealous of my friend Sheldon, a good buddy of mine for a long time, was out on his motorcycle today, and I just didn't get a chance. Mine's ready to go, but it's still a little dirty out there, but he doesn't worry about it. But he always sends me this picture. He's always out first before me. So I got this picture today, like, I did 100 kilometers after work. He's kind of shooting me the middle finger when he's doing that, right? But the bike's getting back out there as a motorcycle rider myself, so keep an eye out there. I saw several out, so keep an eye on the roads out there. So Barry in the house, we'll see what happens there. And, there's there's, Isuelos in there, right, who's really stepped up for this team. And we've talked to him. How can we not every time? Like rookie of the year, quite honestly, for this Sarnia Sting team. And, between him and Diorio, like there are some pressure points that the Sarnia Sting have that they can bring to this game.
Yeah, it's like we're starting Patrick Quinlan tonight, so we hope that he plays a pretty tough game. We've got all the talent in the world now. We've got Beckham's back, Diorio's there, Wallos is there. We've got all the talent on this team to be a successful playoff team. It just hasn't come together the way that you wanted to see it. Every night that they put their full effort in it, they can do it. They've done it. We've seen them beat high teams like Windsor, like London. It's totally doable. I think it just depends on how you feel. And when the puck drops tonight, it's all internal. It's very. Yeah. You realize, the older you get, the more it's a mental game, and hopefully they're feeling pretty good.
Is that what
tonight.
it is? The older you get?
Maybe.
He's talking like he's 102 or something.
Feel like it.
I know what you mean, though, right? We hopefully we grow. Some people don't, but yeah, hopefully we grow. And Matt, going back to Matt Martin, he talked about that as well. With like failures bring you to where you are. I mean, unless you keep making the same mistakes over and over and over. But I don't think that's what this team's doing. I think there's been a lot of unbalances on the team. You go back to, again, coach change partway through the season. Mm-hmm. Lucas Fisher. There's just a lot of things that have affected this team mentally, and then trying to stay focused on bringing the W's home.
Yeah, we go back to talking about your personal life, your school life. This is a whole, and now it comes down to making the playoffs and where you're going to be in probably the NHL draft. You got to think about that is coming up. Everything it's all coming together at this middle point. Not even we're a third into the year, and that's a very stressful point.
Lee Cunningham was sort of somewhat jesting with Matt Martin about maybe there's room on the New York Islanders for some Sting players. And,
open that wide open. Yeah.
There's actually quite a few scouts here tonight.
Yeah.
Quite honestly. So, they're looking at both sides. But and just to clarify, Ben Pickle is still here.
Yes.
I saw something posted online about congratulations, Ben Pickle going blah, 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 blah. And all these people were like, oh, my goodness, is he gone? No, next year.
Next year's commitment, yeah.
So he's still here. Even I caught it at a glimpse the way it was posted. I was like, what? No, that's not right.
Yeah.
So he's still here. There's Nick Carruthers. What's he saying? We beat you tonight. We clinched division.
I think I missed this game. I wouldn't think so, Nick.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so, Nick. We were talking about you behind your back when you weren't here. You should have heard what Connor said about you. Holy
yeah, right.
Yeah, terrible stuff.
Only good things.
There you go. All right, well, that's going to be it for now. We're going to stay live on TikTok. We're going to stay live on TikTok until the first period starts, and then we'll be ending things. But we'll be back on Facebook. I don't know if Connor, Jay Peckham may not make an appearance. He's going to get really comfy up there in that suite, put his feet up, I think. It'll just
I bet.
You could talk him into coming down for one. And then, of course, as far as I know, I believe we'll still have the post-game press conference. Whoever that is, we'll have to wait and see. But right now, Barrie Colts in the house of the Sarnia Sting, and they're looking for a win. Every win now is the critical point. And Nick Carruthers is going to be out there harassing us the whole time on TikTok. All right, thanks, everybody. Thanks, Joe's Discount Tire, for supporting us, along with our friends Hughes Intelligence, where Connor Burke and Jay Peckham will enjoy themselves tonight. And we'll be back here at the end of the first period. As always, I'm David Burrows with Beyond the Boards, and my dear friend